it out, man. This Alchemist. It's the God right here.
Don't pee right here, you know what I'm saying? And don't be scared to get shitty, man. You know what I'm saying? UGTV is going down.
What's good, y'all? This is Music Soul Channel right now. You are checking out Urban Grind TV.
What up, man? This is Ludacris, and right now you are watching UGTV.
What's happening? It's the Teflon Don Ricky Rouse. And right now you rocking with Urban Grind TV. It's going down. Flock Bell install 10 minutes UGTV. Don't go nowhere.
Yo, what's up? It's Eric Sermon, the Green Light Bandit in Chi-Town. UGTV, you know how I do all day. Represent that. You know what time it is.
Joel Santana, and right now you checking out Urban Grind TV. Dipset for life, Skull Gang forever, Slow Bugs, keep up. Ooh.
What's up, it's the Patty Cake Man, and you are watching UGTV right here.
It's Big Snoop Dogg, Urban Grind TV, you understand me?
Urban Grind TV, Face Mob in the building. I'll let your motherfucking boy.
Killer Cam, King Joffrey, Joe, Spacey Sparkers, and right now you watching Urban Grind TV. You know what it is. Good set, you win.
Yo, check it out, y'all. It's the dead. It's Raekwon the Chef, and you doing it big right now on Urban Grind TV.
What's good, man? It's the God. You know what it is. You're watching UGTV.
Yo, what's up? It's DA to the Z, Urban Grind. You know what I mean? Television, keeping y'all updated. Get on the log in, email us, holler back. It's DA to the Z right here, Chicago, baby.
What's going on? It's your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music is My Business. We're live from the Windy City, Chi-Town, and we're rocking with the Behind the Grind series today. So what we do is we step behind the curtain of the music industry with this exclusive series. And what we do is we dive deep into the gears, the entertainment world, give people a rare glimpse in some of the essential roles that are played by industry professionals. Behind every successful artist is a team, and we're here to introduce you to those amazing people, give you some engaging perspectives. And my co-host today is co-author of Making Money with Music, Mr. Randy Cherko.
Hey, great to be back on Behind the Grind. And actually, I have been looking forward to introducing my very good friend, David Taylor, too. And part of the reason why I'm looking forward to introducing him is that this is a very humble man, and he would never talk about himself. In fact, I've actually been out in public with this guy at things like Grammy events. He's like, I forgot I did that. I'm like, I haven't forgotten what you've done. And it actually helps to have someone else introduce you, and I've done the same thing for you at different points.
You're great at that.
Well, it's a lot of fun, and so like this humble man here on my left does so much. It actually will take a while. He's a musician and songwriter first and foremost. His heart beats. Basically, as his heart beats, he's actually either coming up with a beat or coming up with a lyric, and he's here to talk about songwriting. So he has the credentials to back this up. He's been doing this forever. He knows music theory in and out. He does lyrics in and out, and even like the more electronic today's music in and out. So he's done all of that kind of stuff. But beyond that, he's been a producer and actually produced some charting artists, in fact. Although we're not here to talk about that today. He's also an author. He's written multiple books, and including children's books and other books right now. And you're in the middle of a comic book project and releasing a comic book as well, which looks fantastic, and it's an amazing thing. You've got some really active social media in a lot of different areas. But today we're here to talk about your identity as the intrepid songwriter. Can you talk just a little bit about what you do, just to introduce yourself? Would you mind?
Well, you went over some of the many hats that I wear, but intrepid songwriter in particular is about all the things I wish someone had told me when I started out in this game, because the music industry is unlike any other game out there. And none of the models that you're used to, that you would learn in any kind of business school, apply to us. So I wish that when I look back, I'm like, I wish somebody had told me. So I said, I'll be that somebody. So I started my intrepid songwriter thing because my tagline is, nobody tells you what a songwriter's life is really like. So that's what I endeavor to do on every level. And so I've got videos, I've got live videos of me going to events, I recorded sessions, I got a lot of music business stuff, a lot of tips and tricks, production stuff. So just to let you know what you're in for if you want to do this for a living, because it's not for the weak of heart.
Well, okay, but finish what you start. So you started by talking about how you can get started on things and get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
How do you finish what you start?
Okay, so the first thing you have to do when finishing what you start is you kind of have to give yourself room to finish what you start, because we tend to be extremely hard on ourselves.
I thought you were going to say Hennessy. I swear. I was like, that's where I'm starting.
Isn't that your formula for this?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It does help.
So is Henny step 2? Is that like, no? All right, we'll talk about that later.
If you get litty at 450, that's all right.
$450.
So yeah, you got to give yourself room to do that. And what I mean by room to do it is, you kind of have to let the baby come out. So if it wasn't all at once, you got to give yourself room to allow yourself to go do something else, because you can tell artists when you first hear a track, and if they do that same track 6 months later, it has evolved. Have you ever noticed that? Sometimes you hear it live and you're like, it's at such a different place.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes you have to, when you're writing it, give yourself room. It might take a week. You know what I mean? Go do something else, but give yourself room, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. And a whole lot of people think you have to always do it all at once, and no, you don't. No, you don't. You got to give yourself room, and then when you give yourself room, when it's right, it's kind of like, you know, like they say about being in love, when it's right, you know. When a lyric comes and it's a lyric you were looking for, you'll know. If it's something like a key change, you'll know. If you've been looking for a unique sound, and you're like, you know, I tried my 808s, I tried my 909s, I tried everything everybody else uses. It's not giving me the sound I want. And then all of a sudden, you're somewhere and you hear a world sound. You hear a sound from another ethnic group, another country, you say, that's it. Mm-hmm. See, you'll know it. My father taught me that. My father taught me when I went to buy my first bike, I said, that's the one I want. And I remember that first little 5-speed, it was so cool. When we went to get a 10-speed, my father said, so what do you think? I said, well, that was okay. And my father said, nope. I said, what'd you say? He said, nope, I ain't buying you nothing. I was like, why? He said, because when you got that first bike, you said, that's the one I want. And until we get that feeling, I'm not buying you nothing. So we walked around until I found this gold 10-speed. I said, that's the one I want. He got me that one.
That's like your hell yeah, Randy.
It is. Hell
like
yeah,
you gotta
I know.
love it. Like it's gotta be a hell yeah, right?
And yes,
hell
and
yeah,
so you got to give yourself room when you're a songwriter to wait to get there, because it might not happen all at once.
So it might. You said let the baby out.
Just let the baby come out.
The baby might be ugly for a few days. Let it breathe. Basically, you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let it
Or it
breathe.
might have been Braxton Hicks. It might have been
Yeah,
false
yeah,
contractions.
yes.
Wasn't real. But you gotta give yourself room to because when it hits, you'll know. And if you've already finished it, or you're in a hurry, you're on the time deadline or whatever, you'll hear it so much better when the right thing hits.
You got the right frame of mind too, right? It matters. Like it makes total sense. And the thing is, I don't do a lot of songwriting. I've done it, but the best thing is I think you're more critical because it's you, right? If you were doing that for somebody else, you probably wouldn't be as critical. You would probably give yourself.
Well, that leads to the next mistake. So
okay,
that's
let's go to number 6.
That's a good transition.
That was intentional.
Nice. Lead in.
Next mistake is turn the faucet on, let it run, don't cut it off.
Oh.
What most people do, and this is true for authors too, what most people do is what you said. You judge while you write. That is a huge mistake. Do not judge while you write. Turn the faucet on and just let it out. It doesn't matter how silly or nonsensical or poor quality you might think it is. Just let it out. Let it out. And then you can sift through and mine for the gold later, but you got to let it out. That's also how you stumble up on ideas that ain't nobody ever heard before. You will cut yourself out of your own uniqueness if you are judging while you write.
That is for sure. I always like to say that's like driving with the parking brake on.
That's right. So when that faucet is flowing, just no matter what's coming out, just let it out.
I've had a lot of luck doing that kind of stuff in either a jam or working with other people. Like when we were doing our Song of the Day project, it's like people are like, well, I just have an idea. It's stupid. They're like, no, play it, and you'd play it, and it would sometimes be stupid. But you know what? You know what? Those stupid is sometimes like the Macarena. You can't tell me that they're going to their values first and coming up with like, what am I going to write? They're like, oh,
that's when you find out who your real friends are. When the ones that tell you it's stupid, those are the people that are really your friends.
Do you mean that they're going to tell you it's stupid? They're going to be honest with you?
Be honest with you. Maybe not, some people are haters, but maybe they'll be honest with you and offer like some some critique. Maybe some support.
Okay, maybe. I got to jump in on that.
Yeah, that's
because I don't believe in stuff being stupid. You don't change your music, you change your audience.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
that makes a lot of sense.
I like that.
If you write
like
something that is not fitting, and the people are saying, giving you feedback, and they're saying that's lame or that whatever, well, maybe it's just not for them.
You're not reaching the core.
That's how I started writing children's books.
Yeah.
I said, no, this here, what I'm talking about, this is for this age range. This ain't for grown folks stuff. This is for these folks right here, and they love it. So that's what I mean when I say stupid is a judgment.
It is.
That's great. That's a great way to look at it.
You know what I'm saying? So
totally.
So maybe you don't like it. Maybe it don't fit with you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not what you thought. But that don't mean it don't fit anywhere.
It's just not the right audience at the time. I like that.
I gotta say again, the Song of the Day project that my band did, where we did 365 songs, I didn't know what people were gonna like, and they like some of the dumbest ass songs we wrote. Like the dumbest songs we wrote, they like. I'm like, all right, I give up. So like I think this all goes to start with your finish and like a lot of your tips. So we're at number 6. Let's see if we can get through the rest since we're rolling.
Okay. Next one is, you know how in real estate they say location, location, location?
Uh-huh.
In songwriting, it's title. You got to work just as hard on your titles as you do anything else, because it's the first thing that's going to grab people. If there's anything involved where they see the song or it's on a list or it's on a track or anything, it's your title. You got to work just as hard to make those titles catchy. Now, the general rule is 3 words or less, 1 word is best.
I never heard that.
Say that again, please.
That's
the general rule is 3 words or less, 1 word is best.
I learned so much. I've never heard that, but that's
either.
really
That's game
good.
right there.
What advice do you give people on how to find the right one, though?
Okay. You have to, this has everything to do with writing skills. The best titles are collisions of ideas that don't belong together. So
that's good.
So when you want to put something,
do you have an example?
Yeah, break that down.
Like when you say something like,
I'm putting you on the spot, I know.
No. I'm trying to think of examples I use when I do the seminar. Like one of my students wrote a song called "Girl on Her Back Again."
Oh wow, they went hard. They
went right.
But see, you want to hear it now.
That's
you
right.
know, what's that about? Because you got an image with all that, whatever. So that kind of thing. But
Man,
like
it's the
something
again
like
that takes that the rest of the way home.
something like with this ring, I be sled, something funny like that. Where you put ideas together that you don't normally see.
I love it.
Like Saturday after yesterday, or
Saturday after yesterday.
Yeah, Saturday after yesterday, or my 1000th Friday, or like one of my favorite one was when the black isn't black enough. See, you want to hear those.
Yes.
See, what are you talking about? What does that mean? Are you talking about oil?
That's awesome.
Are you talking about ethnicity? Mm-hmm. Are you talking about, what are you talking about when you say that? What does that mean? That's what I'm saying. So you got to work just as hard on your title, because it's got to grab people. It's got to grab them, got to snatch them and say, I want to listen to that. Yep.
Love it. So that was 7?
I believe that was 7.
Yeah, so 8.
Okay, 8.
Yeah, 8. I love it. 8
is not understanding song structure.
Okay.
Lord have mercy.
All right, what do you mean by song structure?
Song structure. If you have what we would call an A section, if you have a similar section, but it's not quite the same, that's kind of A prime. If you have something totally different, that's a B section. If you have something that's totally different from those two, that's a C section. No pun intended there. Yeah, C section would be a good song title, right?
You missed the drum roll.
That's a good song title, right? Right. Time for my C section. What? The man singing that? What? So anyway, so you've got to understand. People oversimplify with intro, verse, chorus, bridge. Those are like basics. But you can write songs that are like rounds in a round, and those are all A's. It's the same thing you're doing over and over again, and if you switch it up a little bit, they become A prime, A double prime, that kind of thing. But you got to understand your song structure because you've got to put the right structure for the story you're trying to tell in that song. So like if you want a song where we're going on a journey, you need 2 to 3 verses, and then your hook or your chorus. Your bridge is supposed to be taking you away from everything we've heard so far. So that has to be lyrically and harmonically different because it gives the ear a break. So when I bring the hook back, I'm refreshed by hearing the hook again because that's familiar because I've heard it twice before we got to the bridge.
Yeah.
So you got to understand your song structure.
Yeah, I've never heard it described that way, but
neither.
But especially the bridge part, it has to sound. And
Right.
do you usually change? Do you usually change the key on the bridge?
You can. That's one of the things to make it refreshing to the ear. But you can always use a relative minor. You don't have to use modulation. So you can use the key that's all related to what you're in.
Right.
But you need to change the harmonic rhythm, how fast.
Like a modal minor.
Right, but how fast do the chords change? And also the range, where does the melody go? And then also, it's got to be giving new information. So everything I've heard up to that point, I've heard verses and I've heard the hook at least twice.
Wow.
So bridge got to take me somewhere else. Okay, you got to go over here, and then by the time we get back, you can modulate at the end of the bridge, and now that's actually a new chorus because it's in a new key.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Oh wow! I've never heard it. I've never heard it described this way.
Yeah, this is good. This is great.
Yeah, this is.
See why he teaches it? I was telling you that, Randy. That's why
Step onto the stage at Urban Grind Studios, featuring a professional TV set with a full stage, dynamic lighting, and top-tier production capabilities. Whether you're filming a show, recording content, or creating high-quality visuals, we've got the setup to bring your vision to life. We also offer a state-of-the-art podcast studio with a Rodcaster Pro, professional mics, and in-studio monitors for flawless sound. Need crystal-clear wireless audio? Our professional-grade Saramonic wireless audio system with 4 microphones ensures top-quality sound for any production. Our photography studio is perfect for headshots, brand shoots, and content creation with premium lighting and backdrops. Need to record music or voiceovers? Our on-site recording studio is available for high-quality productions. Expand your reach with podcast distribution, TV and radio packages, and exclusive content placement services. And we keep it comfortable, with a fridge stocked for guests, easy parking, and a designated smoking area. Book your session today. Call 1-888-380-1913 or visit urbangrindtv.com.
Attention artists, producers, and record labels. Are you ready to elevate your music career? Urban Grind TV will get your music video on BET Jams. That's right, guaranteed airplay for your music video on BET Jams. You'll receive a minimum of 6 to 12 plays, gaining you massive exposure to fans and industry insiders. Just contact Urban Grind TV and we take care of everything. The professional video preparation, the closed captioning, the submission, and the music video placement with the results guaranteed. Just contact Urban Grind TV, send us your file via WeTransfer, complete the payment securely on our website, urbangrindtv.com, and we handle the rest. All you need to do is call 888-380-1913 and visit urbangrindtv.com to get started today. Urban Grind TV, where your music meets the spot.
What's up, everybody? This your boy, Cut Calhoun, the Kansas City Chief. Wanted to let y'all know that new album, The Devil Is a Lie, is available on all streaming platforms. Make sure you go out and show some support. To all promoters, I am now accepting tour dates for 2025. The name of the tour is Back Like I Never Left. For booking info, you can get it below. And make sure to follow your boy Cut Calhoun on all my socials. And you can find that below as well. 2025, Back Like I Never Left. Now accepting booking dates. Holla.
going on? It's your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music is My Business from Urban Grind TV. I'm here to announce my brand new book is out. It's available everywhere books are sold. It's titled Music is My Business, the ultimate startup guide to the music business. You can check it out at musicbusinessebook.com, Amazon Books, Barnes & Nobles, and everywhere that books are sold. And it will help you turn your love for music into a sustainable career. Check us out, musicbusinessebook.com.
No, this guy, I mean, you could tell. I mean, earlier you were just saying, oh, yeah, I have to think of when I was giving seminars on this. And, I mean, it's so clear that you've got that right off the top of your head. We're at 8. I'm like on the edge of my seat. 9?
Okay. You must keep your listeners' interest until the last note.
Oh, wow.
So, have you ever watched a movie and the movie's going great, and then it hits a third reel and you're just like,
Yeah.
kind of loses energy, or the resolution isn't good, or doesn't have a good emotional payoff, and then that's going to hurt its repeat value because it had all these good setups, but you didn't get the payoff. A song is exactly the same way. So from the time I hook you with my intro, from the time I hook you from my title, I got to take you on that journey, and all the way till we get to the end. See, good songwriters know you got to use different techniques to keep your interest. So did I change a rhythm? Did I add a lyric? Did we modulate? I was just writing a song where the chorus was bum 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 bum, and then I broke it up. Bum bum.
Yeah. You changed up the rhythm,
right.
So
when people listen to it, they're gonna hear it different.
Like,
nice. So that kind of thing. So I got to keep your interest until we're done.
That's great.
So what I mean, if we don't keep your interest until you're done.
I know that when we were doing Song of the Day, we did some of that where we'd drop out the instruments and we'd bring them back, or we'd do it with a completely different instrument. But it's
we used to call that a breakdown.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, Drake's thing that he introduced was going underwater. So you do that EQ curve where right on third chorus you just
so you can do it in the studio, not just with the instruments.
But that's more production technique.
That's production set. So.
But you got to keep me interested. You got to keep me there
Yep.
until the very end of the song.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Because once you lose them, you tune out.
That's right.
Right? You're done.
It's always got to be changing, basically.
That's good.
But you were talking about a payoff, though. And, I mean, can I ask you real quick about that? Like, how do you make sure there's a payoff?
Okay. Well,
great question.
Traditional best genre is country music, but you can do it in any genre. And that is you tell the story, and each verse gives you a different part of the story. The hook is the payoff to each different verse, but each verse has to be given you, okay, for example, there's a new sheriff in town, verse 1. Verse 2, he falls in love with this woman. Verse 3, she married. So now I got a friend, and so what's the hook to all that? So you're coming into town, blah, 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 hook. You meet this woman, blah, blah, fall in love, hook. Blah, blah, oh, Lord, she got a husband, hook. So I'm telling you the story, but each verse gives you a different part of the story, and the hook is that payoff. So by the time you know I'm in town, I'm in love with this woman, you want to know, how's this going in?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. And, oh, Lord, she's married. So what happened then when her husband found out, that kind of thing. And so that's what I mean about there's got to be some kind of payoff.
Awesome.
And a whole lot of times artists have good stuff going on in the first part of the song, and then they'll use what I call like some cheap stuff because you don't have anything to say. And you didn't finish off what you were doing, or you didn't finish the journey, or you got me all excited about these images and then you didn't hear no more about that. And because movies do the same thing. So, yeah.
So that was 9.
Okay.
I think we're at the big one.
I was going to say, here's the big kahuna. The big kahuna is your melody must have a money note.
Oh, I want to hear all about this.
If your melody doesn't have a money note, people will be asleep. Okay. Every good melody has a shape. So best example I can give you is the national anthem. The money note of the national anthem is Land of the Free.
Yeah.
Everything from Oh Say Can You See all the way up there builds up to over the land of the free.
Yeah.
That's the money note. So when you write a good melody, it has to have a shape, and that shape is rising and falling, tension and release until you get to that money note. Okay? And then everything comes down after that. If your melody doesn't have that kind of shape, you're going to lose people. You're just going to lose people. So every melody's got to have that money note, and when you write it well, it's tension and release, tension and release, tension and release until you build to that note. And that's the note you want to hear. And so when you know that note's in a song, when that song comes on, you'll listen because you want to hear that note. Just like the national anthem. It doesn't matter how well you sing until you get to Land of the Free. If you mess up Land of the Free, might as well get off the podium.
I can attest to that because they did the national anthem on Monday and it was pretty rough.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
It was pretty rough.
Oh, wow. That's during the commencement
you can
speech.
you can kind of fake it.
Yeah.
The rest of it a little bit.
If you know what you're doing, you're supposed to pitch the song so Land of the Free is not a problem.
Oh.
If you start too high, you're going to run out of space.
No, you're good.
You're going to run out of space. You're not going to be able to hit the note. So you got to you got to start low enough. So by the time you get to Land of the Free, that's full voice and you can bring it.
Is there any advice you have about what to make into a money note? Is it a certain note and a chord that you normally aim at?
The first and the fifth is always good. There's nothing that the first and the fifth don't really work with.
That's right.
So
right, that makes
that's
a lot
always
of sense.
good because anytime you use a fourth or God help you a seventh, they pull.
Right.
So 4 wants to pull down.
It feels unresolved to an extent.
4 wants to pull down to 3 or up to 5. 7 wants to pull down to 6 or up to 1 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
So like one of my best examples is a Superman. Bum, 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 bum. That's a 7. Bum, 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 bum. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
So you
back
can't.
to the 1, right?
Right. You can't just finish on that.
Right.
So you got to come down. And Star Wars is another one. Same guy, John Williams. So right. So they're pulling when you're using 4 or 7. They pull, but 1 or 5 are the most restful notes, so they're good for money notes.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's. I didn't know the same guy did both.
Yeah, that's John Williams.
No, John Williams.
John is Superman, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Jaws, and them. He's the man.
So I love what you're saying because it's not only creative, but what you're telling people is it's practical. There's certain ranges that work, right? And people use them because they work.
Yeah.
Right? And if you just can kind of adapt your work into those ranges, then you're going to have a better chance, right, than people not. And because when you hear something, a lot of people from a listener standpoint, we just feels off. We don't know. You're picking songs apart. When you hear, you're like, oh, yeah, this is off completely. And sometimes I can say that, but to the average listener, you just think it sucks.
Okay, I'll give an example. And it was so embarrassing, it was cringe, and I felt bad for her, but I knew exactly what was happening. So Avril Lavigne was on stage with another group, and they were doing I Love Rock and Roll.
Oh, yeah.
But they were singing it in the range a dude was singing it. So Avril got up there.
They brought it down?
Well, Avril got up there and she tried to sing it, and she couldn't find a note because they're at the extremes of her range. So it was because she kept.
Was it too low or?
Right, but she couldn't get high enough, and then she couldn't get on it, and she kept trying to find a note, and it was just really
That is
awful.
so hard to. Well, I had a thought.
That's why I quit singing.
From earlier. I had a thought from earlier, which is, what if you're doing hip hop and you're talking about a money note or that kind of thing? Is there any concept like that on that side of the house?
Well, with hip hop, it's normally about the hook, and the hook has to be so catchy you can't get it out of your head.
Yeah.
But I always throw in Drake's production tricks. I'll throw stuff in there. If you're producing the track that gives you a breakdown or something you haven't heard before, or a new sound, or a new way to do the hook, so that you're with me all the way to the end.
Got it.
Yeah.
Can you tell Randy's working on his hip hop career?
Yeah, well, then,
It's RC is his rap name, so if you see RC, just mind your business. And he's doing freestyle too?
Freestyle, yeah, well, okay, yeah.
Okay. Run the beat, come on. Let's still cue it up.
He said okay.
I shouldn't have said okay.
You gotta
what
ask
are
me
you talking
twice.
about here?
Pull the beat up.
Damn.
So these are, what are they get? These are called the 10, what do you call
Top 10 mistakes.
Top 10
songwriters
mistakes. Is this in one of your books?
It's in a video on my YouTube channel.
There you go.
That's amazing. And then now, do you do like classes and stuff like on your website?
I do. I have people, they can sign up for consultations with me. So you can buy time in quarter-hour segments, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 hour, 2 hours max. That's when I do the Music Money Maximizer. We walk through all the places to register your music that we can get in 2 hours. I have people bring me contracts all the time. So we go over the contracts, and I say, this means this and that means that. Change this, don't accept this. Ask them about that kind of thing. Whenever you see vague, broad language. And then another one, I have a lot of clients that are in other countries. So I'm like, you've got to understand, neighboring rights. You've got to understand how your country pays, because the United States is the only country that doesn't have a royalty for the artist. So if you hear a song in a performance situation, songwriters and publishers get paid, artists do not. They created Sound Exchange and digital performance right for that. We're the only country that does that on Earth.
Right.
On Earth.
Every other country, if you hear the song on the radio, the writer get paid, publisher get paid, artists get paid. We're the only country that doesn't do that.
Right.
So you got to learn about neighboring rights, which is royalties you can get from other countries. You have to understand how copyright works in your country. You got to understand what they're talking about when they use certain terminology. So I go over contracts with people all the time.
What was your favorite one, Randy, that he said today?
It's still rolling around in my head, because what I split it between is the business related ones and the actual songwriting related ones. And they're all going through. I can't stop thinking about your money note concept, because I have not organized a song that way previously, or a melody that way. I usually start with sort of like a concept of what I want to sing about, and I try and make a melody out of it. But then I think that would shape the whole song towards it. And the fact that you were talking about the anthem, it's like, oh, I get it. I get what you're doing. And so I almost want to experiment writing a song that way. So that's what's in my head. But I liked everything that you said, because I learned a lot from it myself.
That was heavy. I had something in the notes that I got to ask you about.
Okay.
You got a song that you wrote for the Biebs, Justin Bieber.
Yes, it was a song called Sugar and Spice. And we got it on his desk. And
Is it recent or
No, this is right before he went through his bad boy phase.
Okay.
And so it was really kind of, I won't say kiddie, but it was young. So it was about junior high school crushes. And Sugar and Spice, girl, you got two sides, everybody knows it. Sugar and Spice, make up your mind, are you going to treat me good or bad? So I co-wrote that with a songwriting partner on the West Coast. And they loved it. I was like, great, so cut it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you cut it, we'll be set for life.
Right.
And that's when I think he kind of went through his dark phase or whatever. I was like, oh, man.
What about Cuba Gooding Sr.? I didn't even know he was in music.
Well, he was really big in the 70s, and he had his biggest hit was Everybody Plays a Fool Sometimes.
Oh, okay.
And
I know
so
that song.
I was working with a local artist, and then our publicist guy said, why don't you work with Cuba? And so we did a cover of Donny Hathaway's This Christmas that I arranged. And so I had my artist Richard Kincaid singing, and we had Cuba sing on that. It was really good. It broke top 10. It actually was number 9 on the Billboard chart. So I show my students that all the time. I'm a top 10 Billboard charting artist, producer. And so it went really well. And so I learned a lot about recording styles with different artists. And he said we had to have some cognac in the studio. So I had to go get some cognac. He's like, I ain't singing without the cognac.
I like this guy, right?
Okay. So we go get some cognac. And so his style was just put the tape on and let it go. Because many times I would do a take and stop, do a take. It's like, no, just let me sing it. So we sang it through several times until we got his best takes. And so we used those. And he was really, 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 really fun and really, really, really informative. And, you know, when you're dealing with a veteran in the industry, they always have stories to tell that make you better. So I really, really loved working with him. And we actually were talking about doing a project before he passed because he wanted to work with me again. And he's like, we really wanted to create something, but then he ended up passing, unfortunately. But we had a great relationship.
Step onto the stage at Urban Grind Studios, featuring a professional TV set with a full stage, dynamic lighting, and top-tier production capabilities. Whether you're filming a show, recording content, or creating high-quality visuals, we've got the setup to bring your vision to life. We also offer a state-of-the-art podcast studio with a Rodecaster Pro, professional mics, and in-studio monitors for flawless sound. Need crystal-clear wireless audio? Our professional-grade Saramonic wireless audio system with 4 microphones ensures top-quality sound for any production. Our photography studio is perfect for headshots, brand shoots, and content creation with premium lighting and backdrops. Need to record music or voiceovers? Our on-site recording studio is available for high-quality productions. Expand your reach with podcast distribution, TV and radio packages, and exclusive content placement services. And we keep it comfortable, with a fridge stocked for guests, easy parking, and a designated smoking area. Book your session today. Call 1-888-380-1913 or visit urbangrindtv.com.
Attention artists, producers, and record labels. Are you ready to elevate your music career? Urban Grind TV will get your music video on BET Jams. That's right, guaranteed airplay for your music video on BET Jams. You'll receive a minimum of 6 to 12 plays, gaining you massive exposure to fans and industry insiders. Just contact Urban Grind TV and we take care of everything. The professional video preparation, the closed captioning, the submission, and the music video placement with the results guaranteed. Just contact Urban Grind TV, send us your file via WeTransfer, complete the payment securely on our website, urbangrindtv.com, and we handle the rest. All you need to do is call 888-380-1913 and visit urbangrindtv.com to get started today. Urban Grind TV, where your music meets the spotlight.
What's up, everybody? This your boy, Cut Calhoun, the Kansas City Chief. Wanted to let y'all know that new album, The Devil Is a Lie, is available on all streaming platforms. Make sure you go out and show some support. To all promoters, I am now accepting tour dates for 2025. The name of the tour is Back Like I Never Left. For booking info, you can get it below. And make sure to follow your boy Cut Calhoun on all my socials. And you can find that below as well. 2025, Back Like I Never Left. Now accepting booking dates. Holla.
Yo, what's the word? It's SMG Zello, aka Thought Boy Zello, the Talk A Lot artist, man. In the beginning, it was hard for me to get exclusives and to get promo for my music. But guess what? UGTV has that, man. Call the number below, and they will help you out, man. It was the best thing I did for myself.
SMG shit. Shout out SEM. From Memphis to the rack. From the rack back. Still focused. Working. Grinding for everything and nothing less. Gang. I'm on the ground like, whoa. Plenty of fish, you won't pay for the kitty. I probably hit once, then I ghost. Move like the Kennedy, I'm at your energy. Who is that boy? I don't know. He use a drum, so he up in the scope. Keep your friends safe and your enemies close. Brody a demon, he get in his mode. Empty the clip, so he gotta reload. Take what he on, I won't go in his pockets. I see through the cap, so that boy better stop it. I'm trying to see cash that don't fit in the wallet. SMG coming, we trying to make profit. Good talk with sinister, say it's no option. I use my technique, stick and move like I'm boxing. I been gave the word, so they ready to box him. I open up doors, thought you needed a locksmith. All of these drugs, can't nobody just drop me. Bro, buckle with stick in the back of the part. All of these niggas play game what they like, but you cannot respond. No, this shit not Atari. Niggas be hating for any little reason, but I'ma keep rapping these features with Barbie. Trim this shit down till I get to the top. Now I'm about to offset like I'm dealing with Cardi. I'm going back to back, feeling like Pat. They was sleeping on Zello. Wake up from the nap. They put bread on his top since that boy want a cap. I get money, you don't. Let's just keep it a stack. If I sign a contract, I bet that bitch a max. I got smoke, so it's lit. I'm on fire like a match. Can't be chasing the bitch, so I'm chasing the sack. If you don't got a problem, we making it that. Plenty of fish, you won't pay for the kitty. I probably hit once, then I ghost. Move like the Kennedy, I'm at your energy. Who was that boy? I don't know. He was a drum, so he up in the scope. Keep your friends safe and your enemies close. Brody a demon, he getting his mode. Empty the clip, so he gotta reload. Take what he on, I won't go in his pockets. I see through the cap, so that boy better stop it. I'm trying to see cash that don't fit in the wallet. SMG coming, we trying to make profit. Good talk with sinister, say it's no option. I use my technique, stick and move like I'm boxing. I big A the word, so they ready to box him. I open up doors, thought you needed a locksmith.
Sinister gang, we doing that damn thing, ain't doing the damn thing. It's too many haters and so many fakers. They love the haters, we so players. Don't care what they talking, the money is popping. Got it in motion, ain't no boasting. Me and the team, taking the world. That's Urban Grind, that's SCM, that's SMG. Whoever else under the umbrella coming across like the good fellas. Spencer Cologne, they love the smell of us. Only a few, like where's the rest of us? I'm counting this money, I'm keeping it on me. Drinking this liquor like what is wrong with me? I'm rolling these raws, don't mess with woods. Niggas run up, I wish they would. Getting this money, they wish they could. I won't explain, should be understood. The way that I'm walking, the way that I'm talking, there's something about me. They love, they hate me. These niggas is talking, these bitches is stalking. This shit is appalling. I wanna keep ballin', so stay out my way. I'm not here for play. We coming through,
I'm on
so
the ground
clear
like
the way.
Plenty of fish, you won't pay for the kitty. I probably hit once, then I ghost. Move like the Kennedy, I'm at your energy. Who was that boy? I don't know. He was a drum, so he up in the scope. Keep your friends safe and your enemies close. Brody a demon, he getting his mode. Empty the clip, so he gotta reload. Take what he on, I won't go in his pockets. I see through the cap, so that boy better stop it. I'm trying to see cash that don't fit in the wallet. SMG coming, we trying to make profit. Good talk with sinister, say it's no option. I use my technique, stick and move like I'm boxing. I big A the word, so they ready to box him. I open up doors, thought you needed a locksmith.
What's going on? It's your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music is My Business. And I'm here to tell you about the Music Royalty Registration Program. That's right, you can monetize your music and secure your rights with the 14 to 16 essential registrations to protect and maximize your earnings. But why choose this program? Great question. How about getting paid for every stream, download, or play? Save time and effort with expert guidance. Ensure proper credit and ownership. And there's also those music licensing opportunities. For more information, visit urbangrindtv.com or call us at 888-380-1913. Hit the line up and get your grind up.
Are you an artist, model, or entertainer? Do you need help with bookings, castings, or even engagement on your platforms? Hit up Urban Grind TV today and let them get you right.
What's going on? It's your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music is My Business from Urban Grind TV. I'm here to announce my brand new book is out. It's available everywhere books are sold. It's titled Music is My Business, the ultimate startup guide to the music business. You can check it out at musicbusinessebook.com, Amazon Books, Barnes & Nobles, and everywhere that books are sold. And it will help you turn your love for music into a sustainable career. Check us out, musicbusinessebook.com. I also wanted to really ask you, and this is something I thought about going into it, now that he's filled us with a lot of knowledge, what's been the most personal song or project you've worked on, and like why is it meaningful to you? You're full of all this knowledge, you have all this experience, but
my goodness,
if somebody were to say, hey, tell me what's the one that's closest to you, it might not always be the most popular, but what's the most personal to you?
Okay, there's more than one answer, so I'll just pick one. And the answer to that question is, I wrote a song called I Wish That Was Me. and a song about unrequited love. There's a song about somebody that you're friends with, but you love them. And do you have the nerve to tell them? And most people don't, because it's kind of an all or nothing situation. Kind of like, I'll risk it all. If they feel the same way, we're good. If not, I'm probably going to lose the friendship because then it's going to be really awkward. So I wrote a song that I actually had my artist Richard Kincaid record. I Wish That Was Me. Like an actor on his Academy night, I paint on a smile when I meet you outside. Being just your friend has been a masquerade.
Oh, wow.
As we go get drinks, it's still stuck in my head. 2 hours from now, you'll be in his bed. And platonic bliss means you don't see me that way. As we say goodnight, inside I'm a mess, so it's time for me to confess. I wish that was me.
Wow. He's cold-hearted. It's like a rough weekend, man.
Yeah, I wish that was me. Making love to you, I wish I could know how you do what you do. I wish it was my name that you called out. When you love, I wish that was me.
Wow. See, that now you know why
Damn,
Cuba Senior was drinking that brown
Listen
liquor.
to those lyrics.
Yeah, probably a couple of those.
I worked like a mug on them lyrics now. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
And it's personal. See, you could even tell the way your voice changes and everything when you say those lyrics.
Because it's a universal experience. You know, there's no one that at some point in your life where you haven't been close to someone and you wanted more. They were with someone else or whatever, and second verse is, all your female friends say it's not just a fling. Wedding cake and bells set the sound in the spring, and the ticking clock has become so deafening. If I have to spell it out, I'm the better man, so I'm crying out while I can. I wish that was me.
That's great.
That's really great.
What do you think is like some of the biggest challenges that artists today are facing? If they say I want to be a songwriter, I want to be in the music scene, what do you see?
Well, one of the clearly most obvious biggest problems is oversaturation. Lord have mercy. Everything is oversaturated now. We moved a long time ago. Randy and I have talked about this many times. We moved a long time ago into a time of too much content. Back in the day, it used to be everybody watched the same TV show. That's how Friends got so big. That's how Cosby got so big. They had a Thursday night slot and the whole country tuned in, but I'm going way back now for that. But I'm saying as time has gone on and we added more cable stuff and we added more boutique channels, and then with the rise of the internet, which is one of the main things that killed the music industry, now we got more stuff than we got time to consume, whether it's your TV show or your music or whatever. And so the first thing you're going to have to figure out is, how do I make my voice stand out in an oversaturated market? Because when you say, I do hip hop, you ain't saying nothing. It's Chicago. There's a million people in Chicago do hip hop. So why should I listen to you? So you got to figure out, how am I going to make my voice stand out in this extremely oversaturated market? And so that would be the first thing I would think about. Because most of the time, artists just think about what I'm trying to say. But you got to think about your audience. Because if you don't develop an audience, then what you're trying to say is not going to matter if ain't nobody listening to it.
Right.
So what do I do to cut through like the saturation in whatever area? And that can be sonically with a particular sound. You got to get a good producer that'll give you a unique sound. For example, Katy Perry. Most people don't know that Katy Perry tried and failed, and she didn't hit till the third time. So Katy Perry went to LA, tried. They couldn't find a right fit for her. She wanted a sound and a look, and they didn't get it. Went home. She went back again, tried, didn't go. She said, I'm going to go back one more time. If I don't hit before I'm 25, I'm going to do something else. So she went back, and she found that kind of 1950s kind of pin-up kind of thing going on that she had when she first came out. And then she found a sound that kind of worked for her voice, and then she blew up. I remember the first time I saw her when she was on TV jumping in that cake. It was my first memory of Katy Perry. But she had tried to fail. And so you got to find that sound. You got to find that look. You got to find that producer that can bring all that out of you. And they may not happen on your first go-round.
That's a great answer. I had one more I definitely want to ask. And I love asking this thing because we were kind of talking about this earlier, but what's the worst advice that somebody's given you in this industry?
What's the worst advice?
The worst piece of advice that they've given you.
I like that.
The worst piece of advice anybody ever gave me in this industry was, trust me, bro.
That's short and simple.
Yeah, if you hear that, run, right?
Short and simple.
Yeah. Nope. So when I do songwriting sessions, I always videotape them. So, and I make sure we all have a record of them, so we will all know.
Oh, that's even better advice.
We all know what we did.
Just for memory's sake.
Yeah, we all know what we did, and know you did this part, no, I did this part. And like I did that with one of my partners in Nashville. Yeah. We had I went down there, and we went into one of the rooms at ASCAP, and we recorded a lot of stuff, broke it down, sent him all the video.
Right.
So we both have copies. This is what you did. This is what I did. This is when the song changed, blah, 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 blah. But we had a deal with this particular songwriting partner. We had a 50-50 deal. And I said, I'm not arguing about this because I value the friendship more than I do. I'm not arguing about if you wrote most of the song, whatever, if I wrote most of the song, we're just going to agree to split it in half. We're not going to haggle. And we got along great. And when I went down there the first time, he treated me really well, took me to Music Row. And so we just had a great relationship because I had decided, which is normally what I do, which is why I write with people I'm down with.
Yeah.
The relationship to me is more important than arguing about money.
Right.
So if we're going to do a body of work, if we just go 50-50, we don't have to worry about who did what.
Right.
But we'll do the videotaping to make sure we have a record of how everything developed. And then Randy knows about secondary content, about how that can actually turn into content itself. And so there's no trust me, bro, in this industry. Okay, get it signed, get a split sheet, do videotaping, making sure you have original signatures, make sure everybody has copies of everything, and then there's nothing to argue with. You know what I mean? And so even if we fall out, even if we lose fellowship, if we wrote a song and it hits, well, we know we had a 50-50 deal on this, or if we said we're going to do a split, 75-25, whatever, that's on paper. So there's nothing to argue about. And then also, I'm also thinking about my shorties. I got 2 kids. So I'm like, managing my estate or whatever. You weren't in the room with me and the people.
So you ain't going to remember.
So you're not going to know. So if you have to deal with David, then he don't know what we talked about, but if we wrote it down, then I'm like, son, here's the contract. Here's what we said.
That's right.
We ran into that with like Ismails in the States and stuff.
Yeah.
Man.
Right. So no, trust me, bro, is just no.
No.
Trust me, bro, automatic no.
So no, it goes back to your second one, which is get the split sheet signed. It's
That's
like
right.
everything else falls away once you actually have that signed.
Well,
rules are rules for a reason, or 10 mistakes are mistakes for a reason.
Well, once I realized that, if my son is going to be, my son doesn't know the people I know like I know them. He knows of them. He doesn't have the relationship I do.
That's right.
But if at any point that where he'd have to deal with them, for him to come to the table knowing what's going on, we have to have some kind of parameters. And that's what the videos and the split sheets and all that are for. This is what we said.
That's great.
Don't make the 10 mistakes. Those are 10. No, those are 10 solid pieces of advice. Not just for artists, but if you want to own a record label.
That's right.
You want to manage an artist. You want to do guest features or anything. These are just rules that they should know. It's not genre specific, right? So it doesn't matter what genre you're in, if it's hip hop or rock or rap. We could probably talk all day with the stuff. You got the information. If people want to tap in on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's Intrepid Songwriter on YouTube.
And you got a website?
Yeah, intrepidsongwriter.com.
That's how they tap in. They can book you and get the consulting and stuff.
Yes. When I came up with that, I wanted a unique logo and a unique name. And so I researched it before I picked it. I'm like, nobody does this. And nobody talks about what being a songwriter is really like. Who does that? I introduce my videos like that. Intrepid Songwriter, chronicling my adventures as a songwriter. Because who does that? Nobody does that.
No.
And so when we went to, when I was working with Richard, we went to when Steve Harvey opened his show in Chicago, and we did something that has never been done before. We got our CD in the gift bag. Nobody ever does that. They just shut you down. So we did some talking, and we were connected to George and Regina Daniels. George Daniels.
Oh yeah, that's the Godfather.
Right. And Regina, his wife, and Regina knows everybody. And so we did some connection, whatever, and everybody at Steve Harvey's show walked away with Richard's CD. And I got that on my YouTube channel. So so I'm always giving behind the scenes, like, I was at this event, we did this event, when we go to Grammy events, I met this person, we did this, don't do this, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
It's amazing. So, socials, anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
I got some new music coming out next year. I'm working on my comic project right now. My comic book project is called The Z Normals. And the tagline is, what if you could turn pain into powers? And each one of the characters has a particular issue, and they turn that issue into a superpower. So that's the comic book I got. So that's doing a relaunch next year. I got some new music coming out next year. So best place to find me for the music is Intrepid Songwriter. If you want to find me for my comic stuff, that's DT2 Author. That's all my book stuff. And then you can find me there on Instagram. And then on Twitter, I'm DT2 Comics Chat. I have how many followers I got on Twitter now? Like 12,000. So I got a large Twitter following with my comic stuff, and I'm on there every day. So that's the way to get a hold of me, and we'll have a conversation.
Elon follows him, so make sure you follow David, because you can level up. And well, thank you so much. Randy, how can they tap in with you, man?
You can find my stuff at makingmoneywithmusic.com. And David, thank you so much for coming out. I've been looking forward to having you in the studio here. So
my pleasure.
Thanks for sharing everything.
Yeah, I learned so much. And I like the stuff that I did use. I have heard other people say. You reinforced it today. So it means it makes sense. It's a process. And, if there's a winning formula, why go against it?
Right.
So don't make the 10 mistakes, man. Thank you so much. This is Behind the Grind series, where we step behind the curtain of the music industry here on Urban Grind TV. My name is Wally, a.k.a. Mr. Music Is My Business. You can follow me on all social media at Urban Grind TV. And until next time, don't forget, you can't make money and excuses at the same time.
My name is David Taylor II, and you are listening to Urban Grind Radio.